Saturday at 2 p.m. on WTAN FM 106.1 and AM 1340 for Legal Candy with attorney Candace Colucci. She's your guide to hurricane-related issues, property insurance law, and more sizzling legal topics. Get ready for a lively legal experience. Make your Saturday sweet with Legal Candy on WTAN FM 106.1 and AM 1340.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
Caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned. On the show where you can find help and hope. And on the boards, as always, is Mr. Ed. How you doing today, Ed?
Oh, not too bad. I'm ready for some nice cool weather next week.
Well, that's what they're saying. But it's not snow.
Yeah,
it's not.
If you're in the panhandle, it is.
Oh, yeah, I'm not no panhandle. I see those beautiful pictures on Facebook, and my sisters send me pictures from Maine and Pennsylvania and New York. I'm like, so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And I said to my sister, if I came to visit you, it would be beautiful to see through the window. Because I wouldn't want to get out of the house.
To me, snow is at its best at nighttime when you have a full moon.
Yeah. Yeah. And nothing's just
a lot of alcohol in you.
And a lot of alcohol in, says. A little hot toddy.
Yeah.
So with me is my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, not psychic, Lynn Thornley.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
And so I see you're a little bundled up today.
I am. And you know
chilly.
what? The tags are bothering me. I'm not used to having layers of stuff on.
Well, I tell you, I go take out Charlie for a walk in the morning. My nose is running. I'm like, oh.
I know. We're complaining. Oh, my God, it's only going up to 66 today.
I know, it's kind of embarrassing.
I know, but
it's a little embarrassing.
we moved here for that. If we wanted cold weather, I'd go back to Canada.
Yeah. And you could go and visit there if you want, anytime you want.
In May.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's 66.
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Natalie in Clearwater, Marika in Tampa, and Cynthia in Sarasota.
Welcome, ladies.
And like I always say, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners, whether you listen when we're live on the radio, on YouTube, or on Facebook, on my website, or wherever. We're here to help because I know your caregiving journey can be tough. So we want to bring resources and information so that you can find the joy in the journey. And I always say, if you have a question about something or some kind of information you want to know about, contact me through my website, because if I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody that has the answer. And I was just saying to my friend Jessie Brown from Catalyst for Connections is with us today, how grateful I am to be in this Tampa Bay community where professionals want to work together.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
really make a difference in the lives of our seniors. Sure. So welcome, Jessie.
Thank you.
So Jessie and I met, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Time flies.
It does. It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Yeah. So I have been on my dad's Alzheimer's journey, our journey, I say, because as we know, it's everybody's,
Right.
For about 9 years now. And through that whole time, I've seen the ups, downs, everything from caring for him at home to in a facility, going to rehab, going to the hospitals. I've seen it all. And so there's so many hurdles to jump and problems to solve. And I've always said there's 3 ways of looking at a problem. They're the first person, they look at a problem and they just complain about it. They don't look for a solution.
Right.
They just complain the whole time. The second ones look at the problem and say, oh man, okay, look for a solution. It's not there. And they just put their head down and they go. The third mindset, which
Jessie
is a growth mindset of and a maker mindset of, you see the problem, you look for a solution, it's not out there. You know what? It needs to be created.
Yeah.
And you just start looking around and Googling and and try
and
to
see what's
create it.
available, what you can do. And
Uh,
so many different people that I speak to, all of their inventions
Yes.
for seniors is because of their dad, their mom, their aunt.
Yeah. Oh, it comes from total, especially Cows for Connections came from a total place of, this is not okay. I need something to happen. I need it to happen now. Because I'm sure they've heard the story before, but I got a phone call. It is my dad's first facility. I got a phone call. My dad's not an aggressive, agitated man by nature, but they said, hey, I can you talk to your dad? He's getting a little agitated.
We don't know what to do.
We don't know what to do. He's calling the other residents his kids. I said, absolutely. Put him on the phone. Put him on the phone. Within moments, I knew what he was doing. Calmed him down, got back on the phone with a nurse, and she was a lovely nurse. She was great, very attentive. And I said, listen, my dad is trying to organize a youth sports game. He was a youth sports coach for years. He's trying to organize a baseball game. And she said, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, goodbye. And I was like, what? How do you not know? Like, everyone says they're person-centered care. It's like the big buzzword.
Yeah.
We're person-centered. We're person-centered here. Well, what more person-centered is to know what that person is or was
This is
before.
where my dad lives.
You should know everything.
And you know what
You should know
happens?
him.
You fill out the pages of the information
Mhm.
when they move in.
Oh, yeah.
And the first team reads it.
Yep.
Maybe.
Possibly.
And but you think, oh, they know all my dad. This is really good that they ask these questions.
Yeah.
But we know how staffing is, and we know
Yes.
how everything is.
Absolutely. And this was before the pandemic. And I heard it has gotten worse he wasn't in a facility long before the pandemic. I heard that it's just gotten really tough. I mean, he's still in another facility. I see it. But and that's just, it's not okay. I mean,
No, it's not okay.
That information should be readily available, and it has nothing to do with his diagnosis. It's
No.
just simple, basic facts to know him as a person. There was a study.
You're taking care of my dad. You're making sure he's safe. You're making sure he's being fed. You're making sure he's taking his medicine. You need to make sure that you're communicating with him
and engaging with
at
him.
whatever level he's at.
Exactly. And for him to be able to know and to connect with things around him, especially
Makes him thrive.
as his memory fails, as his ability to do things fail. We have to find a way to bring the world to him. I know we need to get into his world to make his world less stress. For instance, you have to have my dad. I noticed that he was having trouble lifting his foot when we had to, change his pants. So more and more I was like, okay, so he can't really live. It's not connecting anymore because we know what this disease is. What can I do to not have him lift his pants? Well, I was a kid in the 90s that played basketball. So those rip-off pants when you played basketball, they were the coolest things. I said, well, that would be perfect here. I just Googled, and it's a post-surgery pants. They have buttons down the side. Boom. Problem solved. Or that's all he's worn for the last 3 years.
And I've met so many companies that make adaptive clothing. So you can't button your shirt. It's all magnets.
Yes.
Whatever.
And
or you have
thing.
a colostomy bag, and there's a spot there where you can just pull it open.
Totally. And that's that mindset of, okay, oh man, I could sit there and struggle with him, and I could get mad at him for not lifting his, but he can't do that anymore. So how can we eliminate that whole thing and solve his problem? And that's what Catalyst for Connections did for him, because if you ever take someone to the hospital that's living with dementia, which I didn't realize that sometimes the people that are intaking them
have no idea.
They don't know they have dementia. And I'm like, what? And they said, unless, if it's a pre-existing condition, I've been told this by Baycare, we don't know that.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, no wonder the lady came in. My dad is not like nonverbal, and she was just talking to him and asking him to do things. And I'm like,
well, up in Pasco, they have like the Purple Angel Project, and they give them the bracelet.
That would be perfect.
So when they go in, they have that bracelet on, and they know.
So they know. So that it's just a way to come about it from more understanding. And that's what this is.
Yeah, so let's go to the next step. So they call you up.
So they call me up, and then I calm him down. And immediately when I hung up, I said, okay, I have to do something about this, because they're not hanging that stuff up. They're not the information I sent. So I hung up a QR code. I made a very quick video. All I needed at that time was, 5 facts to engage him, to talk to him, to know what he likes, to know who his family is.
Everybody has a story.
Everyone has a story. So then I hung it up. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. I said, great. Thank you for looking at it. We bought them a cup of coffee if they looked at it, all these great things. Flash forward, we were able to pilot this program because I see that it needs to be for everyone.
Yes.
Not everybody has a Jessie
Right.
in their facility with them. And if they do,
for
they still
children.
can't be there. Yes. Yeah.
That have challenges.
Yep. There's so many use cases. So we piloted it at Arden Courts. And Arden, to me, because my dad has now lived in 3 facilities. The first one just got too dangerous for him. I didn't feel like the communication was there. So I took him out and we got him into an Arden Courts. Arden Courts of Palm Harbor, a shout out to them because they showed me what real dementia care looks like. And then his care got too great. And so we had to move him to another facility. But for their license, I guess it was very sad, but we understood. Yeah. We totally understood. But my dad is only as good as his caregivers. Right. So I set him up. I try to be there as much as I can. Morning, I have a caregiver with them in the middle of the day, and trust me, very blessed to be able to do that. And that's because of the NFL and the 88 plan with the insurance that he gets. And then I'm there at night. So there's just a little window.
What did you say about the NFL?
Oh,
so explain to that.
Okay. Yep. So my dad played in the NFL under Vince Lombardi and the Packers way back in the day. And the John Mackey family of John Mackey, they came up with the 88 plan. They teamed together. So the NFL, if they qualify for any sort of neurodegenerative disease, so Parkinson's, ALS, dementia, and then they would get a certain level of monetary value every year for the rest of his life. Listen, I'm a school teacher. Care is very expensive, so we would never be able to do this. Right. And thank goodness.
But some people might not even know about that.
Yeah,
you just brought that to the attention because lots of times there are monies that people can get from different places, but they just don't know about it.
They don't. And it's very rough waters to navigate and tough waters. So we're very fortunate to have that with him.
All right. So you made the QR code.
Made it. We're now piloting it we were piloting it in 3 facilities around here. Arden Courts understood the value. They love it. They knew it. Now we're rolled out to regional. We're in 14 Arden Courts in Texas and Florida, and 2 more here in Florida. So 16 altogether. We just want to get it out into the hands. And what I'm seeing most is it's the like-minded people, the people that understand why this is so important. Right. And there's some other, like I said, there's some other wonderful, wonderful products. Memory Well, Life Bio, they're all great. And they make these beautiful books about the resident. And it's wonderful.
But who's going to carry the book around?
But the book is tough to read and navigate.
Everybody has a phone.
Everyone has a phone. Everyone looks at that. And our goal is to make it easily shareable. So my dad if I'm out of state, my dad goes to a rehab facility because he had a fall. I can quickly email that video or that printable because we create these little printables that you can hang up or you can give out. You can email that to the social worker. You can email it to a new doctor. You can hand these.
It's just a couple minutes.
2-minute video. We make it short. We make it brief. And then on the back, it's like these little cliff notes. Hey, what is he like? What does he enjoy doing? So you can ease his anxieties.
Well, I like the one point I remember you interviewed him. There was a little video about what he likes to eat and what he doesn't like to eat. And it was like
I put that
strawberry ice cream or chocolate ice cream. But at the end, you said, if my dad is distressed and all else fails, give him a hot dog with mustard and relish.
Right.
How good is it for me to know that as a caregiver?
Exactly. You're right. And we constantly change. My dad, he might not like that anymore. So I can constantly easily. Well, no, that QR code never changes.
Okay,
you just update.
Change the information.
Change the information, and it's linked right to it. Perfect. And and it's easy. We want to make it easy for anyone to be able to fill out. You fill out 12 questions and it's done, and add a couple photos. Yeah. And we do all the rest on the background.
Yeah.
And we just put in a submission for the National Institute of Aging startup challenge for an innovative
Perfect.
idea to help with Alzheimer's and improving their life. Just trying to get it out there. And
Well,
helping.
I used to say years ago, so in most communities, the staff is not there forever.
Right.
There's a lot of changes there. A place like Garden Courts, luckily they have staff that's there for a long time.
Right.
But that's unusual.
That's
That is-
unusual.
Yeah, few and far between.
Okay, and I think many times, so I'm taking care of your dad.
Yep.
And I don't know anything about him. And I would maybe like to chat with him, but what do I chat with him
Yep.
about? Because I don't know anything.
Well, and it's amazing. I just went over.
So that makes my job hard too.
Right. Absolutely. And we also make QR code and videos for the caregivers so they can be introduced to the loved ones and to the people caring for
Especially
who
the
they're
long
caring
distance
for.
caregivers.
Long distance. I want to know who's talking to or who's taking
Who
care of
hangs
my
out
dad.
with my dad?
Yeah, and also I do put in the question, what is your favorite thing to eat? Because as a loved one on Christmas time, if a lot of people like chocolate cake, I'd like to provide something that they actually like. So then it just gets to
So
know.
the morale
you
just
know.
goes up. The morale goes up everywhere. The
Yes.
morale goes up that I feel like I'm being better educated
Mhm.
and better able to take care of my clients,
Yep.
patients, whatever we want to call them. But then somebody asked about me.
Yes. Yes. And you
Somebody asked
feel-
about me. Would these people take care of our loved ones all day long, and then they go home and they gotta get their own kids and they gotta make dinner and they gotta,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there was a, do we have time for a quick story or do I need
Yeah,
to?
you're
There was a cool study done out of Israel and they took radiologists and they read, if you broke your bone, but they took the control group. All they did was just normal. They just read the scans, just saw the broken bone. But then another group, they had the scan, but along with the scan, they had a picture of the person that has the broken arm. And what they found was when the group that had the scan with the picture were more meticulous in their findings because it made it personal. It made it personal. And then 6 months later, they came back, gave that same group, without the picture, and they performed worse. So you see, if you have that picture, it makes it personal. So if you have one of these, if you know where they're from, what they did for a living. I volunteered at Garden Courts because I still love the place. I took my dad over, we were decorating cookies. I pulled up some of their videos, some of the other residents, and we were sitting there and I said, did you know that this lady, she was a professional singer and she was a biologist back in the 60s.
Yeah, because everybody has a story.
Everyone does. And they were like, no, I didn't realize that. And she said, well, I want to learn Spanish. And this lady knows Spanish. So we were going back and around. They were happy to learn about the other people. They were happy that they were getting talked about. That's what it's all about.
But this is even a good thing for your family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is 2 minutes. All right. Before we get to the family for a second, it's a great thing if dad has to go in an ambulance somewhere
Yeah.
or he's in an emergency room because everybody's got 2 minutes.
Yep.
Especially if you're in that ambulance, you're in there for a little while. So the EMT workers know that dad was in the NFL or that he likes hot dogs or whatever. There's some conversation there.
Yep.
Now, what was I leading to before that? I don't know.
Before you get to family, you said.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, right now, we just went through the holidays.
Mhm.
And some people are going to visit their family and have not seen mom, dad, grandma, grandpa for a year.
Yeah.
They've declined.
Yep.
Okay, so they're not as verbal as they were before.
Right.
They may be in a separate room in the house. Well, I always tell them to create a memory box. So if mom was born in Brooklyn, print out pictures of Brooklyn. Or she was a Girl Scout leader, do that.
Yep.
So then someone comes in and they just pick it up and they can have a conversation. But if they had this, the same thing, even before they came to visit, because kids don't know everything about what grandma did or grandpa did.
Yep. It was funny. My dad was a youth sports coach, like I said, and one of his former athletes was here 2 weeks ago playing soccer at a tournament. I was like, oh, sorry for the cold, guys. Like, from Maryland. I'm like, oh, sorry. But they watched his video and I was like, you're probably going to know everything about it. But they actually didn't realize they played all sports with my dad's.
As much as he accomplished.
They didn't realize he played professional baseball before. And the other lady didn't realize that his grandmother, had an ice cream shop when he was growing up, hence him liking ice cream.
Yeah.
So just those little things, even if you know it, like there's little intricacies.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't have the 2 minutes, because that's what I hear a lot of times in the hospital, well, they don't have 2 minutes. I get it. But there's
So
one or
the
two little
facts on the
facts,
other
just
side of
little
the
quick
card.
2
facts.
seconds.
2 seconds. He likes sports. Done. All I need is that,
Mhm.
or he's from Maryland.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I can
Yeah.
talk about crabs. I can talk about the Chesapeake Bay.
Right.
We can go
Or if
anywhere
he was a
with it.
teacher or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to get. And we're trying to get more facilities on board, but not only facilities, but people that care for loved ones at home.
Yeah, so we can just do this for individuals. So I could
Yes,
create a U card.
absolutely.
I could make one for me right now.
Absolutely.
If
yes.
I wanted.
Yep.
So they'll be able to go to your website, explain the process.
So go to the website, catalystforconnections.com.
And
Spell
number
that.
4.
Oh, sorry. Catalyst, Catalyst, like,
Yeah.
tip off to some, 4, connections.com. And right down there, you just click on sign up for $4.99 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee a day, a month. You can have access to this and just update it as many times as you want. You fill out 12 questions and we do the rest. You can email them as many times. You can print it as many times. You can update the video as many times. You can change the photos out. And what we want to do, and we actually did have a meeting with Baycare, would love to get a network going. And they said, well, you know what? It's a great idea, but X, Y, and Z. The biggest thing is we need more people to be more users for it to be a pilot at one of their facility or one of their hospitals. But they see the value in it. They understand.
Well, I see the value in it. Okay, let's say that I leave the radio show today and I get in a tragic car accident.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't talk anymore, whatever.
Yep.
You think my daughter's going to have any time to be like getting all this crap together to tell the doctors or to tell anybody, this is my mother, this is how you should talk to my mother?
Exactly.
If I already have this prepared for myself,
Totally.
like you're saying, for $5 a month.
Yep. Especially
I'm kind of protecting myself.
Yeah. And it's like an insurance plan almost. I mean, like it's great for every day especially if you have people coming in the home or living in a facility or new doctors. But if you go to the hospital, it is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
I am telling you right now. I've seen it. We have great stories about it from Arden Courts. Mary Ann does a great job of even running it over to the hospitals when her residents are in the hospitals, hangs it up. They love it. They said, we wish everyone has
tool.
This. It's so beneficial for the people caring for them to know. And because in there, one of the questions is what makes them anxious? If my dad's whistling, it doesn't mean that he is happy. Because it's very misunderstood. It means he's anxious. And in the next thing is how to calm him, hold his hand, put a baby doll, put on sports. It could just all looks different. If don't give him graham crackers, give him a little bit of ice cream.
Right.
Those little tiny things. And then when I come in as a loved one and I see that, because he's cold, you have a blanket on him, you have his ice cream there, you have sports on, you have his right name, not Thomas. He's not going to know Thomas on the board. You have Tom. I know then that you've taken time to get to know my dad. And now I'm probably less likely to jump down your throat on something that's not right.
Right.
Because I know. So all the connections go both ways.
It's all about building relationships, really.
That's all it really is. That's it.
All right. Once again, where can our listeners find you?
Catalystforconnections.com.
Please go there. I'll put all the information in the show. I'm crazy about this woman. I just love everything she's doing.
Thank you.
But right now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Are you getting older, or are you taking care of somebody who is? Getting older creates new problems you probably never imagined. One of the big ones is, how do you pay for care? Care in your home, care in an assisted living facility, or care in a nursing home. Did you know that nursing home care in our community can cost up to $12,000 per month? For the last 33 years, our office has helped families access benefits, including Medicaid, VA, and PACE, to help pay for the cost of long-term care. Regardless of what your assets are or what your income is, you can qualify for these benefits. Proper planning and guidance are absolutely necessary to avoid being wiped out. Let us help. If you are in care or heading in that direction, we can help solve that problem. Take action now to obtain benefits to pay for the cost of care. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. 1, get a new power of attorney. Your old one probably isn't good enough. Get a healthcare surrogate and a living will. 3, get an estate plan that will not disqualify you from benefits. And 4, get a plan to qualify for Medicaid, PACE, or VA benefits to pay for the long-term care costs. Call us today for a free consultation, 727-539-0181, or go to flmedicaid.com and download our free book on Medicaid and planning for long-term care. I'm Sean Scott. I'm here to help.
My mom was getting older, but she was able to live pretty independently until recently. When her case manager told me she would be discharged from rehab in just a few days, I didn't know what to do. But I knew for sure that she couldn't go back living alone at home. So that's when I contacted Sunway's Senior Living Concierge. My Senior Living Concierge, Lisa, was there for me through the whole process and was a free service for us to compare in-home care options and how that cost would compare to assisted living. With Lisa's help, we found a great new home for Mom, and she is thriving. Take it from me, don't go through this journey alone.
Hi, I'm Ellie Baldwin, co-founder and president of Sunway's Senior Living Concierge. We're a free placement and concierge service for families to help compare senior living communities and find the best place for you or a loved one. Call us today at 727-314-6451 or find us online at sunwayseniorliving.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we're back. We're just having a little chuckle here today about some different things. Right now we have a good friend of mine, Kathryn Morrow, on the line. Are you with me, my friend?
I sure am.
How are you today?
I am blessed and anointed with the love of Christ.
Yes, you are. So I've known Kathryn for over 20 years. Kathryn is a health coach. Kathryn is a spiritual advisor. Kathryn has helped me with many things in my life. And I'm just crazy about Kathryn. She's a licensed nurse and a health coach, and she's been doing this for over 40 years. And she's taught me a lot of things about myself and about certain things I should eat and about certain things I should just pay attention to. So welcome, my friend.
I am so glad to be here with you and Lynn. Is Lynn there as well?
I am. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
So, Kathryn, what are 5 easy ways to achieve health? Sounds like such a simple question.
Yes, it is. And it's a simple answer, but then not so. The number one way to health and spiritual health, mental health, emotional health is a purpose-driven life. And when we say purpose-driven life, a lot of times people become a little overwhelmed with that. But a purpose can mean I'm going to be the best pickleball player. I'm going to be the best crocheter. It doesn't have to be world-changing, but it needs to be something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And the second thing is our connection to others. So you're a caregiver, station, and you're talking to a lot of caregivers. So a lot of times their only connection is to the person they're caring for,
right,
and to doctors and anything that has to do with the person's care, right?
Yeah.
So we need to find.
But see, then that stops one day all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So what is my purpose now?
Exactly. So we need to find a connection outside of that, whether it's through your church or just through different friends.
Yeah.
Because it can't just be about caregiving. It has to be something else outside of that can bring, different types of friendships and different conversations.
And sometimes it could be also though with other caregivers. So A while back I was in my mailroom one day and there was 2 ladies in there I didn't know, and one lady opened her mailbox and it was stuffed with mail and it all fell on the floor and she started crying, and I was like, it's only mail. And as I was helping her pick it up, she said, my husband has dementia, I don't even have time to get my mail. And the other woman in the room said, my husband has dementia too. And I said, you know what, you girls need to know each other and you need to know me. And now sometimes I see them and their husbands walking around the complex together.
Oh, yes, that's definitely important. But as I said, outside of that as well, because then it takes you away from the situation for a minute.
Yeah.
We need to be taken away a little bit from the situation. So it's great to have common interests and common problems, but then we also need something outside in order to really bring true health to our bodies.
Yeah.
And the third thing is release of stress and toxins. So aren't our caregivers under stress? I was the caregiver, and believe me, after it was over, I really suffered PTSD after it, from being in the hospitals and not being able to sleep and everything else.
And worry.
And fear and all those different emotions that come in. So we have to have a way to release that. And again, for me, laughter is the biggest thing. And so while I was in the hospital, I think me and my son watched every single episode of The Office like about 100 times. So I don't know if I'll ever watch that show again, but it helped relax the atmosphere that we were in, and kind of brought us into normalcy. So laughter is a perfect way to release our stress.
And really, we have a lot of to laugh about, especially when we think of it. Caregivers, sometimes they're in the support group. We laugh the whole time, and we think of some of the silly things we've done. You're like, what the heck? And you know me, Kathryn, I'm always good for a laugh.
Exactly. You carry your jokes everywhere you go. And, I experienced that. I was a dementia nurse for 13 years. And, we had to laugh, at the things that were happening. You'd find people, sitting in a laundry basket or, their teeth flushed down the toilet. And, you had to have some comic relief, even though those were kind of, stressful situations.
Yeah.
But we found some type of laughter, through it. And they would laugh with us. And that was the thing. We weren't laughing at the situation.
Right.
We were all like one family, and that's the way that they felt about their caregivers. So, another aspect of that is toxins. We have to figure out how to release toxins when we're in doctor's offices or hospitals or all these things. We're being exposed to so many things.
Yeah, well, the cooties are there.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, they're everywhere. In the supermarket, everywhere. We're inundated with so many toxins. Through the environment, our air, and our food. And in order to have a healthy life, we have to be able to release those things.
So how do we do that?
A big part of it comes through nutrition, essential oils. Different things, time in itself. If you use that with a carrier oil and just put it in front of your nose, it will keep any viruses and bacteria away from you. So like a simple thing like that, like an essential oil can do that. When I travel, I use silver, and I put drops in my nose, my ears, my eyes, any opening that viruses can come in, so I never get sick when I travel. So there's many different ways and other ways of releasing.
But how do people know about these ways, and how do they know what's right and what's wrong and what's true and what's somebody just trying to sell them something?
So that's like a huge thing, right? When I used to do talks at health food stores, they used to love me so much because I would talk about different products that I researched tremendously, and I was never asking for anything for myself. I wasn't selling anything myself, but I helped them. They were like, "You're the only speaker that comes in here and helps us actually make money after your talk." Because I research companies like crazy. Like right now, there's a collagen company out there that had a great product, but Nestle just bought them. And so what happens out there is all these very mainstream companies buy a natural company, and they keep the same label. And you don't know that it's changed at all.
So it's not the same ingredients?
Well, no.
Oh, goodness.
So it's like reading ingredients, and that's where I come in. That's the type of counseling and support that I do. I help people be able to see what is healthy today, not what was healthy yesterday or good. I constantly am researching any company that I am, sending out referrals. If I'm naming a product, I've researched it tremendously. So there's so many different products out there that were good, and then all of a sudden someone else buys them out. And as I said, they keep the same label, but if you look at the ingredient list, that's just...
So we're right back to, as always, reading labels.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's something that we've used before that we think may be the same, it might not be, huh?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's a little scary.
It is scary. I get an energy drink, a protein drink, and every single month it has a different ingredient listed, And a part of that isn't deception. A part of it is sometimes it's really hard to get natural products. So usually the ingredient that they switch is something very healthy. But at the same point, it would be nice in the mailing if they would include a slip saying, "Oh, we're using this sweetener this month." Something that could let us know. But, unfortunately, you have to be such an advocate.
So how do people just like Kathryn start from basics? So somebody's listening to the show right now and says, "Oh, you know what? I probably need to read my labels more. I probably don't eat so well. I need energy to take care of my loved one. I want to be able to share some of the food that I have with my loved one that would be good for them." So where would you start with that?
I mean, really, basically, is getting back to nature, as close to the raw form as you possibly can. So that comes through our local markets, our local, produce stands, and really, have a conversation with the people, and see where they're getting their products from, and so on and so forth. And again, I help people through that. I have a list of multiple, co-ops that I belong to and things like that. But the easiest way is just to eat as close as you can to nature, not out of a box, not out of a can. And I know that takes work and time, but you know what? You can make a pot of soup just with water, maybe some vegetable broth, throw in some vegetables, saute an onion. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It takes just a couple of ingredients, and you just throw them in water, and, an hour or so later, you have a really nutritious meal.
But, you were saying, all right, so you don't want everything from the can. You don't want everything from the box. Okay, so I was just speaking to my cousin recently. She goes, there's poison in white bread? Now, I don't really eat white bread, but she does. She says her whole life she makes her kids sandwiches every day for white bread. She said there's like plastic in the ingredients.
And
who would
so,
think
Linda,
of that?
Well, yeah, but Linda, that wasn't always the case. So, unfortunately, what they spray our grains with, like the glycophytes, and that's why people have such problems with grains. It's the chemicals that are on the grains, not the grains themselves.
Okay.
And so that's a really big problem. I mean, I don't do this anymore, but I used to mill my own flour. And that sounds like, oh, it's so complicated. It wasn't. It was just putting the grains through a mill, and in a second, you had beautiful flour that you could add into a bread maker with 3 other ingredients, and you have a beautiful loaf of bread.
That's healthy.
Yeah, that's healthy, but it's so simple. So,
I know
So again,
you used to make me those poppy seed muffins. They were so good.
that was my Ezekiel muffin.
Okay.
Yes. But, so easy. You just take a few grains, throw them through a mill, and then throw everything in a bread maker. And that takes about 15 minutes of your time. And
Right.
in an hour, you have fresh bread that you didn't even have to watch.
I just want to smell it.
Right?
I love the smell of bread cooking.
Oh, it smells so
Even
good.
just toast, it's all good.
I'll make you a slice later.
Oh, I can't wait. So let's talk about, we have you for a little bit longer. We're taking medications, or we have health issues. What tools or what foods and supplements do we choose, especially when we're taking medications?
And so that's the biggest thing. You really need to have, somebody. I'm a licensed nurse, but I'm also an holistic practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So I know both sides of
The coin,
of
yeah.
everything. So I know, what the side effects of meds are and what foods help and what foods don't help, what nutrition products can enhance, your meds and help them better. So, with that, you probably need a professional to help with that. That would be probably add stress if you had to do that yourself.
Well, and plus your president might not know how to do it. And if you
Right.
know that, a certain supplement or a certain medication shouldn't be eaten with a certain food, or by eating this certain food will help you better absorb the medication or whatever, would be good news to know.
Yeah, I'm always about enhancing what you're doing so that it works better. And that's what I help my clients with.
But you're also trying to help them to get off all those meds too, right?
Yes, with the help of your doctor, though. I don't tell anyone to ever not take a med without the help of their doctor. But like I used to have a blood pressure clinic, and I used to just tell people to add a certain type of salt that had a lot of minerals in it, because a lot of people think salt causes issues with blood pressure, but it's really lack of potassium. And so you need a salt that's going to have good potassium in it and a lot of other minerals. And they would take this salt and they'd be going to their doctor, and the doctor goes, wow, your blood pressure is looking better and better. And they would say, well, can we lessen the medicine? And then the doctor would. And little by little, these people would get off their blood pressure medicine just by incorporating a certain type of salt. I don't know if I'm allowed to say a brand name on your show. Oh, okay. So Redmond sea salt.
Okay.
It's from Utah. It's so full of so many nutrients.
Interesting.
A lot of people love Himalayan salt. I haven't had the effect with my clients as well as when people took Redmond sea salt.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So, like, I try to give things to do that are healthy and, not take away anything.
Yeah. Or at least, or maybe just replace something with something that works better.
Right.
That works better. So, before we end up here, what are some ways my caregivers can handle their stress?
So, I've been an EFT coach for a very, very long time.
Explain to people what that is.
So, emotional freedom technique is almost like acupressure or acupuncture, but the difference is that you're using positive statements. First, you're stating the issue, and then you're bringing in a positive statement. And it's just light tapping on certain points on your body as you're saying these statements. And really what it comes down to, when we create a pattern, we create a squiggle in our brain. So we want to erase that old pattern, which is stress, and we want to replace
or fear.
Or whatever it is. And so by this tapping, we can erase that one squiggle and we can create a new one. And when you do it repeatedly, it just absolutely is life-changing. When I had my cancer clinic, I taught my patients how to do that. But unfortunately, all of a sudden, I was like, they're not getting results from it. And that's when I started doing it with them. And that's how I kind of became an EFT coach, because I found out that I don't have the blocks that they do. You know, when we're doing things ourselves, we put up blocks. So I'm not saying EFT can't work by yourself, but it works much better if you do it
Have
with a
somebody else.
practitioner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So where can our listeners find you, my friend?
So basically, I got rid of a website a long time ago. It wasn't benefiting me. So all my people get through to me through email, missionofhope2@gmail.com, or text me at my phone number, 727-776-1958.
And you have a Facebook page too, right?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page. Unfortunately, well, that's a whole story. My Facebook page is not my last name, Kathryn Morrow. It's Kathryn Cloutier. And that's another story for another show.
That's all right, as long as we know where to find you. Thank you so much for being with me today. I love you.
I love you too. You have a blessed day, everyone.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, so don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week, so check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
We believe the power of the human body and mind can do amazing things, and that tapping into that power, not just tricking it with a temporary disguise, is possible. Superpatch technology uses a special pattern and vibrotactile technology to help you go from feeling blah to hurrah. Now, once the Superpatch is in contact with your skin, it triggers a neutral response in the brainstem that helps you tackle your daily problems head on. Whether you're struggling with pain, balance, stress, or focus, we have a solution that might be right for you. With Superpatch's 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hi, this is Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. I started using the Liberty Patch over 3 years ago. I used to be a tripper, but since wearing a Liberty Patch, I haven't tripped once. The Liberty Patch is proven to reduce the risk of falling by up to 8 times. And as we all know, if you prevent the fall, you prevent the call. Don't wait until it's too late. Preventative solutions are the answer.
Superpatch does not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure illness. Superpatch is FDA registered. To receive 25% off your first order, go to sticktoit.info. That's sticktoit.info and learn more.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
So I just came back from a Superpatch conference in Orlando last week, and it was absolutely fabulous. You know, I love Superpatch. It's drug-free. I have caregivers that are now off their medications. One of my caregivers sent me an email the other day, and she said, for the first time in 6 months, Linda, I'm not afraid to take a shower because I'm not afraid that I'm going to fall. So there's a variety of different things that are coming out with a new patch for high blood pressure, another one for gut health. And now, right now, the Liberty Patch and the Victory Patch, 80% of the NFL are wearing it. And a friend of mine is a golfer, and he started wearing it, and he said, but I'm not telling anyone else.
No,
Because
not
I
if he's
don't want
playing for
anybody
money.
else. Yeah. I know. I said, you don't want to
No.
help your friends? He says, no.
No.
That's okay.
They're competitive.
So if you're interested, go to Superpatch, go to sticktoit.info.com or just contact me. If you want, I'll come and do a presentation or whatever you want to do. You can check it out and see what it's like. So thank you so much for being here this week. Please go to lindaburhans.com and nominate someone for the caregiver contest. Every person that's nominated receives a gift from me. And then once a quarter, we just pick one name out because you're all winners to us. And you get a gift basket with gift cards and respite care and a massage and a haircut and a whole bunch of really good stuff. And every time someone is nominated, they're like, oh my goodness, somebody thought about me. So it doesn't cost you anything. Just go do it, and I'm going to send them a gift. Tune in next week for another great show. Remember that God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.